Welcome to the Leader by Design podcast. Today, I'm going to share with you a powerful 5-question framework that simplifies the often overwhelming task of strategic planning. So stay tuned. G'day, I'm Brendan Rogers. I've built a thriving business, creating confident leaders who achieve the results they always dreamed of, along with the lifestyle they always wanted. So how do you become a confident leader? By focusing on 3 key areas: developing character, building competence, and creating connection. This is the Leader by Design podcast. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Brendan Rogers. The word strategic plan often send business owners running for the hills. I've seen several corporate business leaders roll their eyes at the painful process of strategic planning. And in my own experience, in the corporate world, they do like to make getting things done more painful than what it needs to be. As small business owners, we need a simple framework that gives us a clear plan to take our business forward. That's exactly what a strategic plan should be, a clear plan to take your business forward. And it can definitely be done on one page. Stick around to the end of the episode and I'll tell you how you can download my one-page strategic plan framework with a completed example for my business, Leader by Design. As we know, becoming a confident leader by design requires focus on 3 key areas: developing character, building competence, and creating connection. Although each of these 3 areas is explicitly linked, this episode primarily focuses on building competence. Here's the 5-question framework to create a strategic plan for your business. Question 1 is, what does success look like by insert a time period? Question 2, why is it important to achieve success? Question 3, how will you measure success? Question 4, what are the 3 to 5 key areas do we need to focus on to achieve success? And the last question, question 5, what do we need to do in the next 90 days? Okay, let's dive in to each of the 5 questions. Then we'll wrap it up at the end to show you how you create a one-page strategic plan to take your business forward. So the first question is, what does success look like by insert time period? The purpose of this question is to begin with the end in mind. Those famous words from Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It forces you to think about what you want your business to look like at a certain time period in the future. Success doesn't have to be tied to a financial goal. Could be something in terms of your company's growth, product development, customer experience, or even your market position. These are just some examples that you could use. The time period can be anything you want. The pandemic taught us that looking too far ahead probably isn't the best use of our time, especially in small business. My preference is to look no further than 12 months ahead. I also like to do this planning in the second half of December, prior to the new year starting. This gets my mind into implementation mode and allows me time to have the right conversations with my team. We can then hit the ground running in the new year. If you're listening to this and thinking, well, I've missed December, so I'll wait until next year, then think again. Don't use the time of year as an excuse for not planning. Irrespective of when you listen to this episode, if you haven't got a plan to take your business forward, then start right now. Remember the famous quote from Benjamin Franklin: if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. For Leader by Design, I reflected on what I want success to look like by the end of December 2024. So the answer to question 1, what does success look like by the end of December 2024, is to scale my impact through digital programs. Question 2, why is it important to achieve success? This question dives deeper into your motivation behind your answer to question 1. Now, there's a heap of stuff in the leadership space written on this already, so we don't need to go in any depth here. The most important thing to understand is that knowing your why fuels your commitment when times get tough. It's the thing you think about to help you get through the challenges that come up when you inevitably face them. In my experience, if your why doesn't drive you to overcome challenges, you probably haven't found the thing that you really want as a result of achieving success from question 1. So, why is it important to me to scale my impact through digital programs? Well, there's 2 things. Firstly, my wife and I are foster carers. And we want to have more time and flexibility to be able to have a greater impact in that space. And the second part of my why is we also want to be able to travel in between caring for kids. Growing the digital side of the business will allow this much more easily, as I don't need to be reliant on coaching clients or teams at specific times and be linked to any particular time zone. Both of these whys have already helped me through some challenges, particularly around my perfectionism personality disorder. It forces me to get over myself and just get stuff done and out into the world. Why? Because we're committed to looking after more kids and we want the flexibility to travel whenever we want. Let's move to question 3. How will you measure success? This is where you get clear on the metric or metrics that determines whether you achieve success or not. Whether it's revenue targets, customer satisfaction scores, order fulfillment turnaround times, or even employee engagement levels. Knowing your key measure or measures of success helps you track progress and make informed decisions. In my real life example, and going back to question 1, what does success look like by the end of 2024? The answer was it's to scale my impact through digital programs. So how will I measure this success? One option could be to set a target for the number of people to enroll in my digital programs. Another option is to set a gross revenue target, and this is what I went with. The success of scaling my impact through digital programs is whether I achieve my financial target of an additional 100K minimum in gross revenue from my digital programs. Now, I can slice the pie in many different ways to achieve this gross revenue target. For example, I could sell one product for 100K, I could sell 100 products at 1K each, or I could even sell 1,000 products at $100 each. You don't need to make any decision on this level of detail. All I need to do is get clear on what my measure of success will be. So ultimately, how I measure success of scaling my impact through digital programs is by achieving a minimum of 100K gross revenue in digital program sales. Question 4. Now, this is where we get into the next level of detail. We have to decide what key areas do we need to focus on to achieve success. Now, I can't ever think of a time working with business owners or their teams where there'd ever be more than 3 to 5 key areas to focus on. Identifying these key areas helps you order your priorities based on achieving whatever success looks like in the period of time you chose back in question 1. So some examples of key areas could be business development, marketing, e-commerce, sales, strategic partnerships, customer service, maybe even project management if you're a project delivery business, or team development. The list of possibilities for key areas to focus on is endless. The critical point is the key areas you choose help you to achieve what success looks like for you. And by creating this level of focus, it helps you order your priority activities to drive you towards achieving success. The key point here is you must narrow your focus to increase your impact. For my Leader by Design business, I've got 4 key areas to focus on to scale my impact through digital products. The first one is digital products, and I guess that's pretty obvious. The second one's marketing, which includes website, social media, and a blog. The third one is podcast. Now, this will be focused specifically on the Leader by Design podcast, but we do have 2 other podcasts out there. One is Culture of Leadership, and the other is My Worst Leadership Moment. But my key focus area here of podcast is definitely the Leader by Design podcast. And the key area of focus 4 is speaking. So speaking on other people's podcasts. Now, what I'm going to do in each of these key areas is the premise of question 5. Planning is nothing without action. So setting short-term goals and actionable steps helps you build momentum and start seeing results quickly. The 5th and final question is, what do we need to do in the next 90 days? Now, for as long as I can remember, there always seemed to be stuff that happened over the course of a 90-day period. The 4 weather seasons happen in approximately 90-day intervals. The school year was always broken up into 4 terms, and thankfully for all of us, each term was more usually around the 70 days rather than the 90. Football preseason training was about 3 months long, and when I went into the workforce, there always seemed to be some sort of quarterly budget or business review taking place. 90-day intervals are great to break up your bigger success goal. Now, I mentioned earlier how they allow you to build momentum. They also allow you to celebrate success along the way to your bigger goal. So committing to 90-day goals also creates a discipline to review what you achieved in the past 90 days and then look forward to the next 90 days and reset yourself with new goals for the period to keep moving you towards your biggest success goal. As an example, let's look at my 4 key areas to focus on from question 4. My first key area to focus on is digital products. So what do I need to do in the next 90 days to scale my impact through digital programs? My answer was 15 founding members have paid to be part of the inaugural program called Master One-on-One Meetings. Now, this 90-day goal is well underway. We already have 22 people on our waitlist. In fact, if you want to join the waitlist to be notified once we open the doors to Master One-on-One Meetings so that you can maximize the performance of your employees and your business, go to leaderbydesign.au/waitlist and sign up today. If you're listening to this and you're thinking, is Brendan setting SMART goals? Now, let's unpack the 90-day goal for the digital products area. Remember, the 90-day goal is 15 founding members have paid to be part of the inaugural program called Master One-on-One Meetings. As a quick refresher, the SMART goal acronym is S for SMART, M for measurable, A for achievable, R for relevant, and T for time-bound. So S is specific. Do you think my goal is specific enough? Well, I do. I know exactly what I have to do. M's measurable. The measure is 15 founding members have paid. So that sounds pretty measurable enough for me. A is achievable. I believe this goal is definitely achievable, but I know I need to get 200 people on the wait list to be able to have a chance of 15 founding members signing up. R is for relevant. This goal is definitely relevant towards my overall goal of scaling my impact through digital programs. And T is time-bound, 90 days. Okay, so when does the 90 days end? Even though I had a break in the new year, my 90-day timeline is the 31st of March, 2024. So going through this, I'm happy that my goal is a SMART one, and I'll be even happier when I achieve it. My second key area to focus on to achieve success is marketing. And as I mentioned, this includes my website, social media, and the blog. My 90-day goal for this area is to have the Leader by Design website published and Leader by Design specific content posted on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook at least 3 to 5 days per week from the 1st of March 2024. Now, I reckon it's right about now that the digital marketing business owners out there are shouting out, what about engagement? Well, I'll definitely be keeping an eye on engagement levels, but our main goal is to build consistency in our process through regular posting under our Leader by Design brand and ensure our social media team is very clear on our Leader by Design content versus our culture of leadership content. By the way, I'm not going to run all the 90-day goals through the SMART goal process. You can, and if you see any areas of improvement, then send me a DM. Also, if you're wondering about the blog not being mentioned, it's not an area I'm concentrating on in this 90-day period. Getting a blog up and running requires a lot of time and focus, and this isn't something I can do in the next 90 days. But I already know in my next 90 days, from April to June, it'll feature as a key goal. Now, like all the 90-day goals, there are many tasks to be done to achieve the goal. Here are some tasks to give you an example. The new branding, website design, and website copy has been done. Our social media person's been given the branding and copy to start doing social media posts. The website design and content files are with the website team to start building the website. And I've got a meeting booked already with my website team to talk about the URL redirection needs between our Culture of Leadership website and the elements that are moving across to our new Leader by Design website. As a business owner, you and your team will know what tasks need to be done to achieve the goal. These are the decisions you make every single day. Then it's relying on the discipline you show every day to actually do the tasks or delegate to the most appropriate person within your team or through an external contractor to get it done. As the business owner, you're accountable for making sure the tasks are done and the 90-day goals are achieved. Let's look at the third key area to focus on, which is the podcast. As I said, This is specifically focused on the new Leader by Design podcast, the one that you're listening to right now. On the Leader by Design podcast, I'll share knowledge, information, tools, and templates that will help bring out your innate confidence. I'll keep it simple, practical, and make it easy to implement. That's how we grow your confidence as a leader. Hopefully this episode and every other one that will follow is testament to this promise. You can always DM me and let me know if I'm staying true to this or not. Now, we've got 2 other podcasts. As I mentioned, Culture of Leadership, where we interview business and sporting leaders to learn from their experiences about what they've done to become a more confident leader. We also have a series podcast called My Worst Leadership Moment, where we encourage sharing and learning from leadership failures. I could have included podcast under marketing. The reason why I wanted to keep it separate is because it's so important in its own right to achieve success in 2024 and beyond. The Leader by Design podcast is the biggest marketing opportunity I have to scale my impact through digital programs. It sits at the bottom of my ascension model, and it's the key place for listeners to get to know me, like me, and trust me. And only when you trust me will you feel comfortable to invest in my programs. So what's my 90-day goal for this podcast? Well, is to have at least 2,000 downloads by the 31st of March, 2024. And if you're listening to this now, I want to say thank you very much for helping me move towards that target. Now, normally I'd focus less on download numbers and more on the number of listeners signing up to our mail list. But given the podcast is brand new, I'm very keen to get downloads growing to build momentum. Also, you may remember from our digital products focus area that we know we need a certain number of people to join our mail list in order to achieve our 90-day goal of 15 founding members. So we've actually covered our mail list growth when we achieve our 90-day goal in our digital products area. And our social media content under the marketing focus area will also distribute content to encourage people to join our mail list. Overall, if podcast download numbers equate to more and more people joining the waitlist for the Master One-on-One Meetings program, then this podcast is kicking goals on all fronts. The 4th and final key area to focus on was speaking. And this is specifically related to being a guest speaker on other podcasts. And my 90-day goal for this key area is to be booked to speak as a guest on at least 10 podcasts. Now, I chose to use the goal booked to speak because often there's some time between being booked and actually recording an interview. Speaking on other people's podcasts has many advantages. The most critical for me is it allows me to share my thoughts, opinions, and models on leadership development and practice how I explain them. It also gives me an opportunity to speak with new audiences and grow my network by meeting other podcast hosts and listeners. From this, if people resonate with what I have to say, they may decide to get involved in the Leader by Design community through consuming our content. This definitely leads to scaling my impact, and it may also lead to some of these new community members joining our digital programs. Another key focus area in our strategic plan that helps achieve the overall goal. Now, we've gone through a lot. There's only 5 questions you need to answer to create a strategic plan for your small business. Let's bring it all together so you can see how it can be a one-page plan. For my Leader by Design business, question 1, what does success look like by the end of December 2024? The answer is to scale my impact through digital programs. Question 2, why is it important to achieve success? It's to have more time and flexibility to be able to have a greater impact as foster carers and to use the flexibility to travel in between the times when we don't have children in our care. The third question, how will I measure success? Well, we'll measure it by achieving my financial target of initial $100,000 minimum in gross revenue from the sale of my digital programs. Question 4, what 3 to 5 key areas do we need to focus on to achieve success? Well, I've come up with 4 key areas: digital products, marketing, podcasts, and speaking. And the 5th and final question, what do we need to do in the next 90 days? Well, for digital products, it's 15 founding members have paid to be part of the inaugural program called Master One-on-One Meetings. For marketing, the Leader by Design website is published and Leader by Design specific content is posted on LinkedIn, Instagram and Facebook 3 to 5 days per week from the 1st of March 2024. For the podcast is to have at least 2,000 downloads of the Leader by Design podcast by the 31st of March 2024. And for speaking, is to be booked to speak as a guest on at least 10 podcasts. So that's it. That's my 1-page, 5-question framework to create a strategic plan for your business. I use it for my business and I know it works. You can use it for your business and it will work. Put your plan where you can see it every day. Work on taking action on it every day. And make sure you do the review every quarter to check progress. Realign where needed and set your next 90-day goals to achieve. Now, I've got to warn you, be very wary of anyone that tells you that this process is just too simple. The most critical aspect of a business plan isn't its length or complexity, but its clarity and the action it inspires in you and your team. By answering these 5 questions, you create a focused, actionable plan that drives your business forward with intent. Now, we've spent this whole podcast talking about a strategic plan and how to come up with it using a 5-question framework. The planning part is obviously very, very important, but ultimately, the one thing that makes the biggest difference to actually deliver the plan is your commitment and discipline to execute it. Success in business comes from not just dreaming, but doing. As I promised at the start of the episode, if you want to download my 1-page strategic plan template with a real live example from my own business, you can go to leaderbydesign.au/strategic plan. That wraps up today's episode on the 5-question framework to create a strategic plan for your business. If you got value from this episode, make sure you subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform and go that next step, take action, and share this episode with a fellow business owner to help their business grow. Let me leave you with this. Always remember, leaders aren't born. They're designed by developing character, building competence, and creating connection. Become a leader by design today. In the hybrid working world, I've seen too many business owners and their businesses suffer because of poor performing employees, leading to below average results. If you want to improve your employees' performance to deliver consistent results for your business, you have to master one-on-one meetings. The doors to our Master One-on-One Meetings training program are opening soon. I'll teach you how to improve employee performance and deliver consistent results using one-on-one meetings. To be one of the first people notified when the doors open, go to leaderbydesign.au/waitlist. Don't wait, sign up now.